We have some news right now. Donald Trump is furious after protests during his State of the Union speech late last night. In a new Truth Social post, he is calling for the deportation of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, and actor Robert De Niro.
There are many politicians that I don't like, but Ilhan Omar is up there on the list, 100%. I don't think that you should be able to sit in Congress if you were not born in the United States. It has nothing to do with her being Muslim. It has nothing to do with her being from Africa or being black or whatever excuse, other than the fact that her actions further solidify my feelings on this. I just don't feel that you can guarantee allegiance.
You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Hey my loves, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. So something is actually happening right now. Ilhan Omar had a very big confrontation with Trump on there was a meeting that was held recently, and there was a lot of lawmakers there, and she literally was everywhere screaming and all that. That got a lot of Americans really upset, because people were like, what are you doing? Like, you are literally an immigrant. And I think she came in, I don't even know how she came. I think people say she came in as a refugee or something, then became as a legalized citizen or so. I don't know the story, but yeah, from some of the things I've read online. And she's a congresswoman, so she was literally screaming on her voice, on top of her voice. And for me, I actually felt that there are better ways to say things than, that's what I think. I don't know about you. Anyway, let me wrap it up here. Let me know what you all think. I'm going to come back with more commentary, but yeah, do well to like and subscribe. Credit belongs to original creators of these videos. Let's jump right in.
And at this point, there are Americans who are also questionable in that respect, but I feel like there's a higher probability that you'll get someone who still has allegiance to their country. When you're naturalized, you do pledge allegiance, but a lot of people that do this, it's very clear that they didn't take their oath seriously. I always say you have two types of immigrants. You have immigrants who come here legally. They pay thousands. They work really hard. They do their naturalization. They take their oath. They are proud to come and be Americans with us. And we love that. And we honor them and we welcome them. They tend to have a greater appreciation for the American people and our country and our flag. However, you have people who just came in illegally, or people who got TPS, or people who were, refugees like Ilhan, where she came to us and said, her country isn't livable, essentially showed up here with a negative $65,000 net worth. And now she's worth, $30 million off of a public servant salary, where she is running a district where the fraud is in the billions. And instead of her responding and saying, showing solidarity with the American people and saying, hey, this is not okay. This is not a good representation of my community. I denounce it. We're going to get to the bottom of it. We didn't get any of that. She largely blamed Americans, said that everybody who was opposed to the fraud were racist. Everybody who was opposed to the fraud somehow didn't like foreigners, didn't want anybody to be here if they weren't American or white or male, or, the typical talking points that they use to evade accountability. She didn't say any of that. In fact, when we uncovered the fraud, which was largely perpetuated by her community, and she had the opportunity to stand in solidarity with the American people and denounce what was happening, she did not. The audacity was, how dare you come into our communities? We saw them on camera all saying this: get out of our communities. You don't tell us what to do in our communities. Okay. We have our citizenship too, even though they're sending back millions of dollars back to Somalia, the same place that they're claiming they're seeking asylum from. But somehow they are sending money back. So it's like there's clearly not an allegiance to the United States. So you telling me that you were granted TPS and then you got naturalized here and you're a citizen, it's not the same. I'm sorry, it's just not. And Ilhan now, with all that's going on in Minnesota in her district, she met us with aggression. She met us with, you have the nerve. And then you have Somalians actually doing press conferences telling us we should pay them reparations because they were inconvenienced by our immigration, customs, and border enforcement. So these types of things, on top of that, the State of the Union last night, where she is actively yelling at the president. Is this what they do where she's from? Where you just stand up with no decorum and start yelling at the commander in chief? I don't care if you don't like Donald Trump. Have some decorum, have some respect. Sit there quietly. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But the yelling at the president, again, it's time after time after time of disrespect. Also, coming into the country and sowing more separation amongst Americans by saying things like the greatest problem, the greatest threat is white men. Ma'am, if you really felt like that, you wouldn't have brought your tail over here to a predominantly white country. No. Out of all 54 countries, 53 minus Somalia, that you could have gone to on the continent of Africa, where you would have barely encountered white people, you chose to come leave the continent of Africa, travel all the way to the United States, to a predominantly white country, to then be placed into Congress in our country and get on national television and say the greatest threat is listen, once again, there is no sense from a lot of peace people. There's no sense of like, thank you. It's very much like I do what I want to do. And her tone now is very much like, I've made my money. She even said it like, deport me, I don't care. Yeah, after you hit a lick for 30 million allegedly for this winery that doesn't exist or whatever else, alleged book cooking is happening. But the bottom line is just like, she is something else, like a complete piece of work. And so no, people like her make me dig my heels into this idea that Congress should operate the same way that the presidency does. You need to be born here. Simple as that. Show the birth certificate that you were born here. We need to minimize the risk of you having zero allegiance to our country, but holding a high position in our Congress.
The way that Ilhan was screaming at Trump during he is the president of the United States, the freaking president of the United States. The way that she was yelling at him, that's how she embodies who these people really are. They have no respect for authority. They are not grateful. The absolute freaking scum is what you are. Why would you yell at the president of this country that you want to be a part of? You and your weird looking family. Your weirdness surrounding your brother and marrying him and all that crazy crap. While she was yelling at him, if you look at her eyes, you can see the demon in her. Look at her eyes. These people have no good in them. No good in them at all. When Trump said they bring no value, he is telling the freaking truth. What are they doing over here? They absolutely hate you. They hate you, white man. They hate you, white woman, black man, black woman. Mexicans, they hate y'all. They hate Americans, but they want to be over here because they want to benefit off the backs of what your brothers, your husbands, the men in your life have done. Built this great nation. And regardless of how people feel about Trump, he is the best that we have. And I love Trump. I ain't gonna front. I love Trump. And I'm gonna always be a Trump supporter like we used to be back in the day when all the black people loved Trump. Let's not forget about that. Absolutely love my president. And we have to pray for him, y'all, because what would compel you to yell like that but a demon? These people are not grateful. They're taking over our country, not just the Somalis. I'm talking about all of the Indians that are here. The call to prayer that they had in New York, where he was saying, we're taking over, you New York, we're taking over, yeah. And it's just happening. It's just happening. Nobody's doing anything. All of that expensive real estate. Can you imagine even being there and those stupid call to prayers at 5 a.m.? Christians don't even impose. You know why? Because the Bible says you go to that city, you preach the word. After 2 times, if they don't want to hear you, you shake the dust, you leave the dust there, you go to another city. But they're bringing that wickedness here. And the fact that she felt like she couldn't even talk like that in her country, let alone yell at the world leader, at our world leader of the free world. These people are sick, twisted, and demented. They have a depraved mind, the Bible says. That was so disgusting to see her with them black eyes and that nose pointing down to her lip like that, with that weird face. How in the world are we going to get these people out of office? They have no right to be there.
What's that? That's the marriage certificate for Omar to her brother. Who posted it? The White House. Yeah, she's probably not going to be here for a long time. If she's allowed to stay after the White House posted that, there's a bigger problem here in this country. They posted all the details of when he arrived, when they got married, everything. On top of all the fraud that she's allegedly involved in, it looks like they're a lot deeper into that investigation than they're letting us see. But her time is coming, and I'm here for it. Because we've been having this conversation so long, probably a good close to a decade, if not more. Are you going to appreciate and celebrate if she gets deported? Yeah, me too. Exactly.
Literally do not know about you, but with the display, okay, I don't think he was really called for. Okay, there's so many, they have literally been writing to themselves on social media because you just see Trump's as maybe right up today, the next minute you're seeing and Omar responding, with videos and sometimes, on interviews and all of that. So people actually have issues with that, and we're like, this is a first class president. Like, he's literally the first president of the entire world. Okay, so there should be some kind of decorum. Okay, and from the video I saw, I think he was like saying, oh, let's come together and make peace, or make the America thing and come together and all that, which is his country, and he knows probably what he wants. Okay, and at this point, I just want you to see it plainly that I'm trying to like interpret what I saw, right? So I'm like, when I saw her screaming from her own end, because the crowd was much, I thought maybe it was just like Congress and probably the president. But at this point, it was like a crowd of people. Like, there was just so much crowd in that room, and people just needed to listen. Okay, yes, you can agree or disagree with him. Okay, that's like, you can literally agree or disagree with him. That some of his laws you might not like, some of his policies you might not like, which is really understandable. But I don't think screaming from that point was really necessary with everything that's currently going on in their community, because I feel like she's putting herself out there and putting her community in front line. That's what I feel. Okay, because I just think that at this point people just need to be quiet, and especially with what is happening with our community, she would have just been quiet and allow investigations go on, so that there'll be peace. Because I feel that most of these things that some of our leaders do kind of attract consequences, and those consequences do not directly go to them most times. Okay, it end up going to people who are harmless, people who have done nothing. They are always at the receiving end. Like, the minorities always at the receiving end of all of this. When protest starts, if I decide to go to their community again, you guys know what will happen. Like, other people will come out and protest. And if you all noticed, when this whole thing happened, I don't think any Somalia or Somali person was actually unalive. I don't know. You guys educate me in the comment. But some of the ones that trended were literally American citizens, and it was heartbreaking to watch some of those videos. Okay, so the people who are always at the receiving end are the people who know nothing, who do not stand in corridors of power, who have nothing to even add or subtract when policies are being passed. The only thing they could do is to protest, and you won't see your leaders on the street protesting. Most of them will just be in a confined conference room, okay, telling you guys what to do. Oh, we're going to shut down, and we're not going to do any business today, and all of that. And that's literally most of the things that you see, right? So I think at this point, that community has faced a lot. So putting them in the front line again, it's not even necessary. Okay, it's really not necessary. I don't think it's necessary, but yeah, that's my own take. I don't know about you guys, so share your own take in the comments, right? I just think it's not necessary. Yeah, there are policies that you might not like, but that does not mean you also want to attract more, fire to people who have no direct contact with the president or his policies, or have access to political tables where they can discuss issues surrounding their community. I think you should deal with your stuff and deal with it. My take, because of what I'm saying is because what they are currently going through. Not that it's a free speech, it's a country where you have free speech to do anything, but yeah. That's just my take. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to original creators of these videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, drop your own take in the comments, and I'll see you all on my next. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you all next time. Bye.